Close your eyes now. Let the soft autumn wind brush against the window pane like a gentle hand stroking your hair, carrying the faint scent of roasted chestnuts from some distant New York street cart. Feel the blanket settle heavier on your chest with every slow breath you take, warmer, softer, until your shoulders finally release the day. Tonight we're going somewhere familiar yet endlessly comforting. A place where the city lights twinkle like sleepy fireflies, and two people keep circling each other for 12 whole years before they finally understand what their hearts had been whispering all along. This is the bedtime story of When Harry Met Sally, told so slowly, so quietly, that every memory will feel like it's happening to you, in you, around you. Let the wind outside keep time with my voice, a hush that never rushes. Because love, real love, never does. Imagine you're curled up in a brownstone bedroom somewhere on the Upper West Side, rain beginning to tap very lightly on the fire escape, the kind of rain that makes you want to stay exactly where you are. The radiator gives a soft metallic sigh every now and then, like an old friend clearing his throat before telling you something important. Somewhere down the hall, a clock ticks in perfect 6/8 waltz time, the same rhythm Nora Ephron used when she wrote this script while sitting in Café Luxembourg, stealing real conversations from real friends. Fun little secret. Almost every witty argument you're about to hear started as actual late-night talks between Nora and the director, Rob Reiner, after his own divorce. They turned heartbreak into laughter, and tonight we'll turn that laughter into the gentlest lullaby. Breathe in slowly and out and feel how the story already knows you. Have you ever met someone and instantly decided you could never, ever like them, only to discover years later that your soul had quietly bookmarked that exact moment? That's where we're going. 12 years of seasonal changes, of crisp fall leaves crunching under nervous first steps, of summer sidewalks so hot they shimmer, of winter nights when the only sensible thing to do is kiss someone under fake snow in a department store window. Harry Burns and Sally Albright are about to walk straight into your dreams, arguing about Casablanca and high-maintenance girlfriends and whether men and women can ever just be friends. And somehow, without meaning to, they'll remind you that second chances taste like pecan pie at 3 in the morning. Let the wind carry a tiny flake of memory across your cheek. Did you know that Billy Crystal ad-libbed almost all of Harry's best lines, including the famous "men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way," and Meg Ryan just rolled with it, eyes sparkling, because that's what real chemistry feels like? And here's another whisper for you alone. The film was shot in only 46 days, mostly in sequence, so the actors aged with their characters the same way we age with the people we love. Every close-up you'll picture tonight carries the actual exhaustion and hope they felt on that very day. As the rain grows a little steadier, like someone turning the volume knob of the world down to the perfect sleeping level, ask yourself this, softly, the way you'd ask a dream. Have you ever shared a long car ride with someone you barely knew and felt, underneath all the irritation, the tiniest spark of recognition, like your future just waved hello from the rearview mirror? That's about to happen to them in 1977, and it's about to happen to you again right now, only slower, warmer, safer. Let your eyelids grow heavy the way Sally's do when she finally admits she's scared. Let your breathing match the gentle sway of that old yellow Ryder truck pulling away from the University of Chicago. Everything is waiting for you exactly where you left it, wrapped in cashmere and city lights and the smell of wet leaves. Rest your head a little deeper into the pillow. Feel the cool cotton against your temple, the subtle weight of the duvet that keeps the night from pressing too hard. Tonight there will be no sudden noises, no bright screens, only my voice and the softest wind and the occasional page turn of memory. When we reach the moment they dance together at the New Year's Eve party years from now, you'll already be half dreaming it. When Harry finally runs through the streets to tell Sally he loves every little annoying thing about her, your heart will smile in its sleep. And when they kiss under paper snowflakes while Auld Lang Syne plays like a lullaby written just for grown-ups who still believe, you'll know, without needing to wake up, that love can take its time, because the best stories always find you when you're finally ready to listen. Shh. The radiator sighs again, approving. The rain is perfect now, steady, forgiving, endless. You are completely safe here. Let every muscle you didn't know you were holding simply melt, the way butter melts on warm pecan pie in that little scene we'll visit later. Let the city outside fade until there is only this room, this voice, this gentle wind that smells faintly of roasted chestnuts and second chances. You don't have to remember anything tonight except how good it feels to be carried. I've got the whole story folded carefully in my arms, and I will lay it over you piece by piece until you're wrapped so completely in it that sleep has no choice but to come find you. Are you comfortable? Good. Take one more slow breath that fills every corner of your chest and let it go like a secret you no longer need to keep. The year is 1977. The leaves are turning. And somewhere on a college campus, two people who will matter more to each other than they can possibly imagine are about to climb into the same cramped car and change everything forever. But that's for the next whisper. For now, just listen to the rain and the wind and the soft hush of pages waiting to turn. You're already drifting, already smiling, already home. The year is 1977, and the air on the University of Chicago campus smells like wet brick and possibility. Feel the crisp October wind slipping under your collar as Sally Albright stands beside a battered yellow Ryder truck, her arms folded tight across a cream cable-knit sweater that still carries the faint perfume of library books and apple shampoo. She is 21. Hair the color of late afternoon sunlight, eyes that judge everything a little too quickly, and she is already annoyed because the boy walking toward her is late. Harry Burns appears through a swirl of red gold leaves, dark curls messy under a Mets cap, wearing a navy peacoat that has seen better decades, carrying two bulging duffel bags and a grin that says the world has never disappointed him yet. He tosses the bags into the back of the truck with a soft thud you can almost feel in your own shoulders, then turns that grin on Sally like he's offering her the last slice of pizza in the world. She does not take it. Listen to the gentle rustle of maple leaves skittering across the pavement as they climb in, the truck door closing with a heavy, comforting clunk that echoes inside your chest. The seats are cracked vinyl that sticks slightly to the backs of your thighs even through jeans, and the heater only works on one side, so Sally keeps her side of the window cracked just enough for cold air to keep her awake. Harry immediately starts talking, voice low and confident, the kind of voice that fills space without asking permission, about how he just broke up with his girlfriend because she wanted to find herself in an ashram, and how Casablanca is the greatest movie ever made because Ingrid Bergman should have stayed with Humphrey Bogart instead of getting on that plane. Sally's fingers tighten on the steering wheel. You can feel the cool metal under her palms, the tiny vibration of the engine waking up, the way her pulse quickens. When Harry says, very casually, that men and women can never be friends, because the sex part always gets in the way. The wind outside picks up a little, brushing the truck like a cat asking to be let in. And Sally argues back, soft but sharp, that of course they can, that she has plenty of male friends she feels nothing for. Harry just smiles that slow, crooked smile and says, "No, you don't. You just think you do." And the first tiny spark jumps between them, so small neither notices, but you do, because you're listening with your whole sleepy body. Hours slide by like warm honey. The highway unrolls in front of them, cornfields giving way to rest-stop coffee that tastes burnt and wonderful at 2 in the morning. Harry eats a grape and spits the seeds out the window with theatrical precision, making little clicking sounds against the glass. Sally rolls her eyes, but you can feel the corners of her mouth betraying her. They argue about whether people who order complicated restaurant orders are high maintenance. She orders her pie a la mode, but on the side, everything on the side. And Harry watches, fascinated, the way you watch rain slide down a window pane when you're too tired to move. He tells her she's the kind of woman who takes 45 minutes to order a sandwich. She tells him he's the kind of man who leaves the toilet seat up and will die alone. The words should sting, but they land like pillow fights in the dark, soft, silly, impossible to take seriously when the moon is so bright and the radio keeps playing James Taylor songs that make everything feel forgiven already. Have you ever shared a long car ride with someone and realized, years later, that every mile was quietly stitching your lives together? Close your eyes and feel the gentle sway of that truck, the way the dashboard lights glow amber across their young faces, the way Sally's knee accidentally brushes Harry's when she shifts gears, and neither of them moves away. The wind outside is singing now, low and steady, carrying the scent of distant wood smoke through the cracked window. Sally's hair has come loose from its careful bun and curls against her cheek like it belongs to the night itself. Harry watches her more than the road sometimes, though he'd never admit it. They stop at a motel just over the Pennsylvania border because neither wants to sleep in the truck, and in the fluorescent hum of the lobby they stand side by side pretending to read brochures about Amish country while secretly aware of how close their shoulders are. 2 rooms, of course. Separate keys that click softly into their palms like tiny promises neither understands yet. Morning comes pale and quiet. Frost feathers the windshield in delicate patterns you could trace with a sleepy finger. They drive into New York City as the sun rises pink over the East River, the skyline looking brand new, like someone just finished building it and forgot to tell the rest of the world. Sally drops Harry at Washington Square, the truck engine ticking as it cools. He leans back in through the window, suddenly shy, and says maybe they'll run into each other sometime. She says maybe, but her voice is careful, guarded, the way you speak when you're trying not to hope too hard. He watches her drive away, taillights disappearing into the morning traffic, and stands there longer than he means to, hands in his pockets, feeling something settle in his chest that he mistakes for indigestion. 5 years pass like pages turning in a book you're too cozy to put down. The wind outside your window tonight is the same wind that blew through Manhattan in 1982 when they meet again, purely by accident, at LaGuardia Airport. Sally is wearing a camel coat and holding a stack of magazines, looking polished and happy because she's in love with a lawyer named Joe. Harry is wearing the same navy peacoat, only now it fits him like an old friend, and he's with a woman named Helen who laughs too loudly at everything he says. You can almost smell the burnt pretzels from the airport kiosk, taste the metallic tang of recycled air. Their eyes meet across the gate and something flickers. Recognition, surprise, a tiny ache neither can name. They talk too fast, overlapping the way old almost friends do, and Harry is married now. Helen is his wife, and Sally is practically engaged. Everything is fine, everything is settled, except for the way Harry's gaze keeps drifting to Sally's mouth when she laughs. Did you know that the airport reunion scene was shot in one single take because Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan improvised the entire awkward hug, the way real people do when they're terrified of feeling too much? The camera just kept rolling while they stumbled through it, and Rob Reiner knew instantly he would never get anything more honest. Feel the gentle bump of their suitcases as they walk side by side down the concourse, pretending this is normal, pretending the years haven't carved secret spaces inside them shaped exactly like each other. Another 5 years drift by on softer wings. It is now 1987 and the leaves are turning again, the same red gold as that first drive, only now they fall on Central Park instead of a college campus. Sally's heart has been broken. Joe left her for a younger tax attorney, and she cries in the kind of ugly, hiccuping way that leaves your eyes swollen and your soul scraped raw. Harry's marriage has ended too, quietly, politely, the way polite people end things they never should have started. And somehow, impossibly, they find each other again in the Shakespeare and Company bookstore on the Upper West Side. The air smells like paper and coffee and October, and when Sally sees Harry reaching for the same book of essays, something inside her unclenches for the first time in months. Listen to the soft rustle of pages as they stand there talking, voices low so they don't disturb the other readers, though the whole store seems to hush around them like it knows. Harry makes her laugh about something ridiculous, the way he always could, and Sally realizes laughter doesn't have to hurt anymore. They leave together without planning to, walking through the park as dusk settles violet and gold over everything. The wind lifts Sally's scarf like a kite tail, and Harry reaches out without thinking to tuck it back around her neck, his fingers brushing her skin for the first time in 10 years, and the touch is so careful, so familiar, that both of them forget how to breathe for a moment. Have you ever realized, halfway through a conversation on an autumn evening, that the person standing in front of you has become your safest place without either of you noticing? Feel the crunch of leaves under their shoes, the way the streetlights blink on one by one like stars remembering their jobs. They are friends now, real friends, the kind who call at 3 a.m. when the city is too quiet and the heart is too loud. And that, little dreamer, is only the beginning. The city has slipped into its softest season now, late October turning into November. And the wind outside your window tonight carries the exact scent of roasted peanuts from the cart on 72nd and Broadway that Harry and Sally pass every single day on their new ritual walks. Feel how the air is colder on your cheeks, how your breath makes tiny clouds that disappear almost before you notice them. They are friends, only friends, the best kind of friends, the kind who finish each other's sentences and know exactly how the other takes their coffee, hers with milk but no sugar, his black with 2 sugars even though he pretends he's cutting back. Every evening after work they meet somewhere in the neighborhood, sometimes the Hungarian pastry shop, where the hot chocolate is so thick it coats the spoon like velvet. Sometimes the little bench by the fountain in Central Park, where the street lamps make puddles of gold on the path. The leaves have mostly fallen now, lying in damp, fragrant carpets that whisper when you step on them, and the sky stays that perfect bruised violet color for hours, like it's reluctant to let the day end. Listen to the gentle scrape of Harry's shoes as he waits for her outside her building, hands deep in the pockets of that same navy peacoat, collar turned up against the wind. Sally appears in the doorway wearing a long cream scarf that flutters like a sleepy moth, cheeks pink from the elevator ride down, and the smile she gives him is so unguarded It makes something inside his chest ache in the sweetest way. They fall into step without discussion, shoulders almost but not quite touching, the space between them humming with the kind of electricity that feels warm instead of dangerous. The city has started decorating for Christmas already. Tiny white lights twinkle in the bare trees like someone spilled stars across the branches. And every time they pass a window display of mechanical ice skaters or nutcrackers, Sally slows down just enough for Harry to notice and slow down too. They never say it out loud, but they both love this time of year more now that they have someone to love it with. One night they wander into the Museum of Natural History after hours because Sally knows a guard who lets them in through a side door. The halls are dark, except for the emergency lights glowing soft amber along the floor, and their footsteps echo like secrets. Under the giant blue whale, they stand shoulder to shoulder, looking up at the enormous gentle creature suspended above them. And Harry whispers that when he was little, he used to think whales sang to each other across entire oceans just to say, "I'm still here." Sally's eyes fill with sudden tears she doesn't bother hiding, because Harry has seen her cry before and never looked away. She whispers back that maybe that's what friendship is, singing across the dark so the other person never feels alone. The whale's shadow sways gently over them like a lullaby, and for a moment the whole museum holds its breath. Have you ever stood in a quiet place with someone and felt the silence say more than words ever could? Feel how the marble floor is cool through your socks, how the air smells faintly of dust and ocean and time. They leave the museum hand in almost hand, fingers brushing every few steps like shy teenagers, and neither of them mentions it. Thanksgiving comes wrapped in cinnamon and cold air. Sally hosts in her tiny apartment on West 89th, the radiator clanking happily, the windows fogged from the oven. Harry arrives carrying 2 bottles of red wine and a pecan pie. He definitely did not bake himself, though he pretends he did. Their friends Marie and Jess are there too, laughing too loud, arguing about whether the turkey is dry. It isn't. The table is crowded with mismatched plates and candles that drip colored wax onto the tablecloth like abstract art. Sally wears a soft burgundy sweater that makes her eyes look greener, and every time she leans across Harry to pass the cranberries, their arms touch and stay touching a second longer than necessary. After dinner they all play charades, and when Harry acts out high maintenance, he does the most ridiculous impression of Sally ordering salad dressing on the side that everyone howls with laughter, including Sally, who throws a napkin at his head but misses on purpose. Later, when the others have gone home, and the apartment is quiet except for the gentle ticking of the kitchen clock, Harry helps her wash dishes. Their sleeves are rolled up, suds sliding over their wrists, and the window above the sink reflects them standing side by side like a photograph someone forgot to take. Sally hums under her breath an old Carly Simon song, and Harry dries a wine glass so slowly it's almost a caress. Feel the warm water, the soft clink of plates settling into the rack, the way the dish towel smells like lemon and safety. Outside, the first snow of the season has started to fall. Fat, lazy flakes drifting past the streetlight like feathers from some enormous pillow fight in the sky. Harry looks at Sally's reflection in the dark window and thinks, not for the first time, that she is the most beautiful thing he has ever seen when she isn't trying to be beautiful at all. Did you know that the Thanksgiving scene was almost cut because the studio thought it slowed the movie down, but Rob Reiner fought for it, because he said real love grows in the quiet moments between holidays, not just on New Year's Eve. And here's another whisper. Meg Ryan actually burned the real pecan pie that day, so the one you see on screen is a stunt pie flown in from a bakery in Brooklyn at the last minute. Every time Harry takes a bite, and declares it the best pie he's ever tasted. He's tasting Brooklyn's finest rescue dessert. Christmas comes next, all silver and pine needles and the smell of roasted chestnuts that drifts up from the street vendors. They shop together for gifts, weaving through crowds on Fifth Avenue, Sally trying on ridiculous hats in Bergdorf's, while Harry pretends to be embarrassed but secretly takes 100 mental photographs. One afternoon they end up at Rockefeller Center, standing beneath the enormous tree whose lights reflect in Sally's eyes like tiny galaxies. Skaters glide below them to the slow, dreamy notes of Skater's Waltz drifting up through the cold air, and Harry buys them both paper cups of hot chocolate so rich it stains their lips brown. Sally licks a marshmallow from the corner of her mouth, and Harry has to look away because the urge to kiss her is suddenly so strong it scares him. Instead, he bumps her shoulder with his, and says something stupid about how the tree probably uses enough electricity to power a small country. She laughs and bumps him back, and the moment passes, but it leaves a tiny glowing coal in both their chests that refuses to go out. One night in early December, they rent Casablanca, because of course they do. They watch it on Sally's couch wrapped in the same blanket, a big cream-colored knit that smells faintly of her perfume, and the cinnamon candle burning on the coffee table. When Ingrid Bergman says, "We'll always have Paris," Sally's hand finds Harry's under the blanket without either of them deciding it should. Their fingers lace together slowly, carefully, like two people testing whether a frozen pond will hold their weight. By the time the plane takes off at the end, they are holding on so tightly their knuckles are white, but neither moves to let go even after the credits roll. The room is quiet, except for the soft crackle of the candle and the gentle ticking of snow against the window. Harry's thumb strokes the inside of Sally's wrist once, twice, a question neither of them is ready to answer out loud. Have you ever held someone's hand and felt your entire future resting in that small connection? Feel how warm her skin is, how steady his heartbeat is under your ear when you finally lean your head against his shoulder. The snow keeps falling outside, erasing the city one gentle layer at a time, and inside the apartment, everything feels suspended, like the world has agreed to pause just long enough for them to figure this out. But of course they don't figure it out yet, because this is still only the middle, and the middle is where we pretend we're not terrified of how much we need someone. The snow has turned to rain now, soft January rain that taps the windows like someone who knows you're trying to sleep and refuses to knock too loudly. Feel it sliding down the glass in long silver threads while Harry and Sally keep pretending everything is still perfectly platonic. They have rules now, unspoken but ironclad. They do not talk about the hand-holding. They do not mention how often they fall asleep on the phone. They do not acknowledge that Harry has started keeping a toothbrush in Sally's bathroom just in case. The city smells like wet wool and coffee steam and the metallic promise of a new year that hasn't decided what it wants to be yet. One Thursday evening, they meet at Café Luxembourg because Sally has had a terrible day. Her boss made her cry in a meeting, and Harry is the only person she wants to see when the world feels too sharp. The restaurant is warm and dimly lit, candles flickering inside red glass holders that paint soft rosy shadows across their faces. Harry is already at the table when she arrives, coat damp from the rain, hair curling more than usual because of the humidity. He stands up to take her coat without thinking, fingers brushing the back of her neck where tiny raindrops still cling like diamonds, and the small intimacy of it makes her breath catch. They order the same thing they always order. Steak frites for him, salmon with dill sauce for her, everything on the side of course. And the waiter knows them well enough now to bring extra bread without being asked. Under the table, their knees touch and stay touching. Neither moves away. After dinner, they walk west because neither wants the night to end. The rain has softened to a mist that beads on Sally's eyelashes and makes the streetlights blur into watercolor halos. They pass a jazz club spilling slow saxophone notes into the wet air, and Harry stops, hand on her elbow, and asks if she wants to go in. She says yes before she can think about it. Inside, it is dark and smoky and perfect. They find a tiny table near the back where the candle has almost burned itself out, wax pooled like frozen tears. The band is playing Autumn Leaves, so slowly it feels like the song itself is falling asleep. Harry orders 2 brandies, neither of them particularly wants, just so they have something to hold. Sally's fingers are cold around the glass, and Harry covers them with his own, without asking permission this time. The saxophone curls around them like cigarette smoke, lazy and intimate, and halfway through the solo, Harry leans over and kisses her. It is not a small kiss. It is 12 years of almost and maybe and what if, pressed into one slow, deliberate meeting of mouths that tastes like brandy and rain and every argument they never finished. Sally makes the tiniest sound in the back of her throat, half surprise, half relief, and kisses him back like someone who has been underwater for a very long time and finally found air. When they pull apart, the saxophone is still playing, and the candle has gone out completely, and neither of them can remember how to speak. Have you ever been kissed in the dark while music you love wrapped itself around you like a blanket? Feel the warmth of his palm against your cheek, the way his thumb traces your cheekbone like he's memorizing the exact shape of this moment in case it never happens again. They leave the club floating. The rain has stopped, and the streets shine like black mirrors reflecting a million tiny moons. They walk without direction, arms brushing, occasionally bumping shoulders on purpose now. At some point, Harry takes her hand properly, fingers laced tight, and Sally lets him. They end up at her apartment because it is closer, riding the elevator in silence that feels sacred. Inside, the radiator clanks a friendly hello. Sally turns on only the small lamp by the couch, so the room stays mostly shadows. Harry takes off his wet coat and lays it carefully over a chair, like he's afraid to disturb the night. Then he kisses her again, slower this time, backing her gently against the hallway wall until her shoulder blades touch the cool plaster and the entire world narrows to the heat of his mouth and the soft scratch of his unshaven cheek against hers. They make love on the couch because neither of them can wait long enough to find the bedroom. It is clumsy and urgent and perfect. Sally's sweater gets caught on her watch and Harry laughs into her neck, a low, warm sound that vibrates through both of them. There are buttons that refuse to cooperate, and a sock that ends up hanging from the lampshade like a surrender flag. When he finally slides inside her, they both go very still for a moment, foreheads touching, breathing the same air, realizing this has been inevitable since the first time he spit grape seeds out the car window in 1977. Afterward, they lie tangled together under the cream blanket that still smells faintly of Casablanca, listening to the radiator and the soft thud of their own hearts slowing down. Harry traces lazy circles on her bare shoulder and whispers, "I was so in love with you, and I didn't have a clue." Sally smiles against his chest and answers, "I know. Me too." Morning comes gray and quiet. They wake up wrapped around each other like vines, legs intertwined, hair everywhere. Harry makes coffee while Sally showers, humming off-key because she is happy in a way that feels dangerous. They drink it on the couch, still wearing last night's clothes, knees touching, stealing shy glances like teenagers who got away with something. Everything should be perfect. But Harry panics. Not right away. At first he is gentle and sweet, kissing her temple while she reads the paper, bringing her the arts section before she asks. Then something shifts. Something small and invisible. The way a crack appears in ice before anyone notices it's there. He starts making jokes that aren't quite jokes, about how men always want to leave after sex, about how he's not good at this part, about how maybe they should just go back to being friends because that worked so well. Sally hears every word like a tiny paper cut. By noon, the air in the apartment has turned thick and careful. Harry says he has to go meet Jess about something unimportant, and kisses her goodbye too quickly, the way people kiss when they're already halfway out the door in their heads. Did you know that Billy Crystal improvised almost the entire morning after scene in one take because he remembered exactly how terrified he felt after sleeping with someone he actually loved for the first time? Meg Ryan cried real tears when Harry left, not because of the script, but because she understood Sally's heartbreaking in that moment more than she wanted to. The next weeks are winter in every sense. They avoid each other with the precision of people who used to seek each other out daily. Sally throws herself into work, ordering complicated salads she doesn't eat, crying in the ladies' room at the office when no one is looking. Harry tells himself he did the right thing, that sex ruins everything, that he's just protecting their friendship. He dates other women, tall ones, blonde ones, ones who laugh at all his jokes, and hates every minute. At night he lies awake, listening to the wind rattle his windows, and misses the sound of Sally breathing beside him so fiercely it feels like a physical ache. Spring tries to arrive, but neither of them notices. Central Park is suddenly green again, and the fountain where they used to sit is running. Water sparkling in weak sunlight, but the bench stays empty. Marie and Jess get engaged and plan a wedding that forces everyone into the same rooms again. At the engagement party, Sally wears a pale yellow dress that makes her look like April itself, and Harry cannot stop staring from across the room. They are polite. Painfully polite. When Jess pulls Harry aside and asks what the hell he did to Sally, Harry laughs it off with a joke that falls flat even to his own ears. One afternoon, Sally sees Harry in the Metropolitan Museum of Art by accident. She is with a date, a perfectly nice man who bores her within 15 minutes, and Harry is alone, standing in front of a Monet water lily painting that looks like someone spilled a dream onto canvas. Their eyes meet across the gallery, and the air leaves Sally's lungs so fast she feels dizzy. Harry's face does something complicated, relief, longing, shame, all at once, and then he walks away without speaking. That night, Sally sits on her bedroom floor surrounded by old photographs and cries the way she did when Joe left, only worse, because this time she let herself hope. Have you ever lost your best friend and realized too late that they were also your home? Feel the cool hardwood under your knees, the way terrace tastes salty on your lips, the way the radiator clanks like it's trying to comfort you but doesn't know how. Summer arrives sticky and unforgiving. The city smells like hot dogs and garbage and broken air conditioners. Harry and Sally orbit the same wedding events like two planets that used to share an atmosphere and now pretend they don't miss the oxygen. At the rehearsal dinner, they are seated at different tables, but keep finding excuses to look at each other. Sally's hair is longer now, and she keeps tucking it behind her ear the way she does when she's nervous. Harry drinks too much wine and tells the same joke 3 times. When the band starts playing Our Song, the one they danced to the first night they became friends. Sally excuses herself and goes to the ladies' room to splash cold water on her face. Harry follows a minute later and waits outside the door like a man waiting for a verdict. They don't speak. They just look at each other in the hallway lined with terrible floral wallpaper and know that everything is still there, buried under layers of fear and pride and time. September again, the way the story likes to circle back to autumn when everything important happens. The air has that crisp, almost sweet edge that makes you want to walk slower so you don't miss a single second of it. Central Park is on fire with color, maples bleeding red and orange into the sidewalks, and the wind carries the faint smell of roasted nuts and distant wood smoke. Jess and Marie's wedding day is bright and cool. The kind of day that feels like the city itself decided to dress up for the occasion. Sally stands in a pale lavender bridesmaid dress that skims her knees, hair twisted into a loose knot, with tiny white flowers tucked in, looking so beautiful, it hurts to look directly at her. Harry is in the back row of the reception hall, pretending to listen to an uncle tell a story he's heard 6 times already. But his eyes keep drifting to Sally the way compass needles drift north without permission. The band is playing old standards, slow and syrupy, and couples sway under strings of fairy lights that blink like sleepy fireflies. Harry watches Sally dance with Jess, laughing at something Jess whispers, and the ache in his chest is so sharp he has to put his champagne down before he drops the glass. He has spent months telling himself he did the right thing, that leaving was noble, that friendship is safer than love, but every single lie tastes like ash tonight. When the song changes to "Let's call the whole thing off," you say potato, I say potatu. The irony is so thick he almost laughs out loud. Sally catches his eye across the room and for once doesn't look away. Something electric passes between them, soft as moth wings but impossible to ignore. Later, when the cake has been cut and the older guests are dozing in corners, Harry finds Sally on the terrace overlooking the park. The city lights shimmer below them like scattered jewels, and the wind lifts the hem of her dress just enough to show the delicate strap of her sandal. She is holding a cup of coffee she doesn't drink, staring out at the skyline the way people stare at oceans when they're trying to decide whether to jump. Harry stops a respectful distance away, hands in his pockets, heart beating so loudly he's sure she can hear it. "I was wrong," he says, voice low, almost lost in the wind. Sally doesn't turn around yet. "About what, exactly?" "About everything. About leaving. About thinking I could go back to just being your friend after I knew what it felt like to fall asleep with your hair in my mouth and your leg thrown over mine." She turns then, slowly, eyes bright with tears she refuses to let fall. "You hurt me, Harry." "I know." His voice cracks on the second word. "I hurt me too, every day since." Have you ever stood in front of someone you broke and realized the only thing left to offer is the truth, raw and trembling and terrifying? Feel the cool stone railing under your palms, the way the wind dries the tears on your cheeks almost as fast as they come. He takes one careful step closer. "I came here tonight to tell you something I should have told you that morning on the couch when you were wearing my shirt and humming off-key, and I was too scared to stay." Sally waits. The band inside has started in the wee small hours of the morning, the singer's voice drifting out like smoke. Harry takes a breath that shakes. "I love the way you order everything on the side, even when it annoys the waiter. I love how you cry at the end of every movie, even the stupid ones." I love that it takes you an hour and a half to order a sandwich, and that you read the last page of books first, and that you fake orgasms in diners just to win an argument. Sally makes a tiny wet sound that might be a laugh or a sob. I love your ridiculous high-maintenance ways, he continues, voice dropping to the softest whisper the wind will carry. And I love that you pretend you're not when we both know you are. I love that you can recite every line of The Godfather but still get scared during thunderstorms. I love your hair when it's messy and your eyes when they're puffy from crying and the little mole on your left shoulder blade that you think nobody notices. He is close enough now to see the tears finally spill over. I love you, Sally Albright. I love you so much it feels like dying every day I don't get to tell you. And I'm sorry it took me 12 years and one spectacularly stupid morning to figure it out. The terrace is silent except for the wind and the faint music and the soft hiccup of Sally trying not to cry too loudly. She looks at him for a long moment, searching his face the way you search the sky for the first star on a night you're not sure you believe in wishes anymore. You forgot one thing, she whispers. What? I love you too, you idiot. I never stopped. And then she is in his arms, and he is holding her so tightly, it's like he's trying to make up for every second they spent apart. They kiss like people who have been underwater for months, and finally broke the surface. It tastes like salt and champagne and forgiveness. The wind wraps around them both, gentle now, approving, lifting Sally's hair and pressing Harry's jacket against his back like the city itself is hugging them. Inside, the band has switched to Auld Lang Syne even though it isn't New Year's Eve, because the band leader saw them through the window and decided some moments deserve their own countdown. Harry and Sally sway together right there on the terrace, foreheads touching, breathing each other in. When the song ends, they don't let go. They stay wrapped around each other while the lights of Manhattan twinkle below, and the leaves keep falling in slow motion, and the wind sings the softest lullaby you've ever heard. Did you know that Rob Reiner's own mother, Estelle, is the woman who delivers the famous line, "I'll have what she's having," after the Katz's Deli scene? And that Billy Crystal suggested it on the spot because he thought it would be hilarious if Harry's mom said it, but Estelle stole the take and made it immortal? Tonight she would look at these two people finally holding each other and say the same thing, only quieter. I'll have what they're having. Feel Harry's hand settle at the small of Sally's back, the exact spot it was always meant to rest. Feel Sally's fingers curl into the hair at his nape, the way she has wanted to do for 12 autumns. They are crying and laughing at the same time, making promises with their bodies they will spend the rest of their lives keeping. The wedding reception continues inside without them, but out here on this terrace the real celebration has just begun. Quiet and perfect, and theirs alone. Close your eyes now, and let the wind carry you the last little distance. They will get married too, eventually, in a small ceremony with pecan pie instead of wedding cake, and all their friends crying happy tears into paper napkins. They will argue about toilet seats, and whose turn it is to take out the trash, and whether Casablanca really does have the best ending. They will make love on Sunday mornings with the windows open and the city waking up around them. They will grow old in the same slow, circling way they grew in love, one ordinary, extraordinary day at a time. But tonight, right now, they are still on the terrace, still holding on like letting go would unravel the entire universe. And somewhere in the gentle dark a clock strikes midnight, even though it isn't New Year's, because some years begin the moment two hearts finally say yes. The terrace has dissolved into soft darkness now, and the only thing left is the gentle hush of wind moving through the almost bare trees of Central Park. carrying away the last red leaf of the season so quietly you barely notice it go. Harry and Sally are married in the story now, sitting side by side on a couch that looks exactly like the one where everything almost ended, only this time their hands are resting together without fear. Fingers loosely laced the way old married couples do when touches become as natural as breathing. The camera lingers on their faces, older, softer, lined with every laugh and every fight and every ordinary Tuesday they have shared since that night on the terrace. And they smile at each other the way people smile when they finally understand the joke was on them all along. Love was never the complicated part. Being brave enough to stay was. Listen to the faint crackle of a fireplace that isn't really there, just the memory of warmth. Feel the cashmere blanket someone, probably Sally, draped over your shoulders hours ago, heavier now with sleep. The city outside has dimmed its lights the way thoughtful host dims them, when the party is over and only the best guests remain. Somewhere far below, a taxi sighs at a red light, a late-night dog walker whistles half a tune, and the wind keeps rocking the world the way a mother rocks a cradle long after the baby has fallen asleep. Did you know that when they screened the finished film for the first time, Nora Ephron cried during the final interview scene because she suddenly heard her own parents' voices in Harry and Sally's answers? And that Rob Reiner still keeps the original wagon wheel coffee table from Jess and Marie's apartment in his own living room, a quiet monument to the day he realized love sometimes looks like terrible furniture you refuse to throw away? Have you ever watched two people who took 12 years to find each other and felt your own heart settle like it just remembered where it was supposed to be all along? That is the gift they leave on your pillow tonight, wrapped in the scent of pecan pie and October leaves and the particular shade of blue the sky turns right before dawn. Let your breathing slow until it matches the rhythm of the radiator that has been keeping time with us all evening. Soft clink, gentle sigh, soft clink. Let every muscle you still had, clenched somewhere behind your knees or between your shoulder blades, simply unclench, the way Sally's hand unclenches in Harry's when she finally believes he isn't going anywhere. Let the last tiny pocket of worry you carry about tomorrow dissolve like sugar in warm tea. You are completely safe. You are completely loved, even if no one has said it out loud today. Somewhere in the quiet spaces between heartbeats, someone is learning how to be brave enough to tell you. Maybe it will take 12 minutes. Maybe 12 years. The timing doesn't matter. The love was already on its way the first time you ordered your pie a la mode on the side, or spit grape seeds out a car window, or cried at the end of a movie you'd seen 100 times before. Feel the gentle weight of the story settling over you like the softest quilt ever made. Patches of 1977 Chicago leaves, 1988 snowflakes, 1989 wedding confetti, and every ordinary luminous day in between. Let it tuck itself under your chin, around your shoulders, behind your knees. Let it whisper one last thing against your ear, so quietly only your dreams will hear. Men and women can be friends. They can be enemies. They can be strangers sharing a long car ride who argue about Casablanca and accidentally change each other's lives forever. But sometimes, if they're very lucky and very stubborn and very gentle with each other's fears, they get to be this. Two people on a couch at the end of a long, messy, perfect story, holding hands while the credits roll and the wind rocks the world to sleep. The fire has burned down to embers now. The radiator gives one final friendly clank and rests. Even the wind has decided its work is done. There is nothing left to do except let go. So let go. Drift. You are home. Good night, sweet dreamer. I'll leave the porch light on just in case love takes 12 years to find you too.